Howdy Tabletop RPG fans. I'm Wrangleme Grand Poobah of Game Design, and today's topic is RPG design prototyping. Idea to success. You don't have to be a game designer to benefit from prototyping. Perhaps your group has grown weary of a particular mechanic in your particular RPG and you want to try some homebrew. Perhaps your skills in adventure creation and game mastering need some work to make your ideas more compelling. I think the South Park Underpants gnomes express this missing step best. Finding the fun. I use a development methodology called SMAFF to make fun games every day. SMAFF stands for smaller, faster, and funnier. Thousands of game designers prototype until they find the fun in an iterative process similar to SMAFF to reach their goals. Anyone can have a pretty good idea for a game mechanic or a game concept, but a game designer can't tell if it is fun until people have played it. Learning to read players' emotions, body language, micro-expressions, and poker tells is a key factor in becoming a good game designer. RPG design methodology. RPG design is about prototyping ideas, playtesting those prototypes, revising your approach, and then iterating to do it all again. All of this with the ultimate goal of making a fun game, and in my case, a funny RPG. I break my tabletop role-playing games into features or goals, and then systems to make those goals work. Then I prototype those goals and systems as quickly as possible. And I play test the prototype to see if it is fun, and in my case, funny. Then revise, rinse, and repeat. I typically iterate dozens of times in my process. As an indie tabletop role-playing game designer, I count on my fans to be my playtesters. Playtesting Wyrmstalkers. I help run the Protospiel event at the DunderCon Game Convention. This year, over 60 prizes were rewarded to over 100 players for well over 320 hours of playtesting board games, card games, and RPGs. Wyrmstalkers is one of the smaller, faster, funnier RPGs that I self-publish. Last weekend, I playtested Wyrmstalkers in a separate official event at DunderCon with 8 players for 6 hours. I set constraints as my design goals for games, and it makes the work much more satisfying for me. My primary goal when designing Wyrmstalkers was to make a single axial stat game. Think lasers and feelings that used gear to build and advance characters in a cartoon swords and sorcery environment. A single axial stat is called whimsy, and you will roll below that on a d20 for mental actions and above for physical actions. It had to be very swingy to feel epic and chaotic to be funny. The last goal was that it also had to fit on one piece of paper double-sided in pamphlet form. Things that I learned from the DunderCon playtest. People really like being funny pookies with silly names. People really loved the chaotic setting of living on a planet-sized troll, old Granny Fogritz, and helping stalk the worms that erupt from her festering pimples. The various kinds of worms really made the encounters feel epic. Telling stories about their adventures to the Imp Pyewacket and Pixie Nix was very entertaining and rewarding. Players really got into character. As quick as the pacing was, having 8 players slowed down the action while the players waited for their turn. The single axial stat mechanic took most players some getting used to and affected the learning curve. Rolling your whimsy score resulted in something chaotic happening. It was a huge hit and was just wacky enough to elicit groans when rolled and laughter at the result. The jargon or terminology that I use is just different enough from other RPGs that some players got confused in the first few minutes. The names and mechanics for weapon and trinket powers needs to be clear and simple. It would greatly help to have more weapon and trinket powers. Making a new Pookie is fast and feels right. While weapons and trinkets get better each adventure, the Pookies need to earn an extra gut, aka health, after adventures too. I had a lot of fun role-playing Pyewacket and Nix while running the various kinds of worms. No cognitive load on the Game Master, aka Sheriff, while playing, but I'm the designer. I've got some fixing to do for the next version. Still, players were laughing, and many said they wanted to play it again. I consider that a success and worth another iteration or two. Thank you all for watching this episode. Hit like, subscribe, or ring the bell, or Booger will get you. If you want to see more videos like this, go to hopspush.com and buy an RPG or t-shirt. Do good, annoy evil, and bye-bye.